Yo, what's good, Laker Nation? Listen, I need y'all to sit down for this one. I mean it. Put the phone down flat, tira o phone de ouvido, pause whatever you're doing right now, because what I'm about to break down for you today is the kind of thing that people are going to be talking about for the rest of this entire playoff run, and honestly, maybe longer than that. I was watching First Take this morning, and what happened when LeBron James stepped in front of that camera was something I have genuinely never seen from him before. Not like this. Not with this level of cold, calculated energy. And I'm still processing it, man. I am still sitting here trying to make sense of everything that came out of his mouth. So let's go. Let's break this down from the very beginning, because you cannot miss a single word of what King James said today. Hey, what's up everyone? Real quick before we get into everything, that like button is literally what determines if this reaches hundreds or thousands of fans. Takes 1 second but makes a huge impact on the channel's growth. Just smash that like button right now. It's the easiest thing you can do, but honestly, the biggest way to support this content, every single like pushes this further, so hit it now. Okay, so here's the context. The Lakers just closed out the Houston Rockets in Game 6, right? 98-78. LeBron dropped 28 and 8 in that game alone, without Luka Doncic for the entire series, without Austin Reeves for part of it, as 425 plus underdogs, and the man carried this team on his 41-year-old back and punched their ticket to the second round, so you'd think the media would give him his flowers. You'd think Stephen A. Smith would wake up today and say, you know what, let me show some respect to the greatest player in NBA history. Nope, not even close. Stephen A. came out on First Take this morning with Shannon Sharpe and Malika Andrews, and he basically laughed at the Lakers' chances against OKC. He said, and I'm quoting this directly, LeBron is 41 years old. Ayton is not Chet Holmgren's problem. Luka is watching from the bench. This is a sweep. He literally used the word sweep on national television before Game 1 has even been played, and that's when they cut to LeBron. He was sitting in the visiting locker room at the Paycom Center in Oklahoma City, calm as a surgeon, putting his wristbands on, and Malika Andrews asked him, LeBron, Stephen A. said this morning that the Lakers don't have a chance in this series, that OKC's athleticism is too much. How do you respond? And I want you to picture his face in this moment, because he didn't get angry. He didn't raise his voice. He just looked at the camera with this half smile. And he said, Stephen A., I hear you. I've been hearing that for 23 years. Bro, 23 years. My jaw literally dropped. I had to rewind that. Because in 6 words, LeBron James dismissed every single critic, every single analyst, every single talking head who has spent the last 2 weeks writing the Lakers' obituary. And the studio, you could see it. Shannon Sharpe looked down at the desk. Malika Andrews blinked twice, and Stephen A., who was watching from the set, literally went quiet for a full 4 seconds, which if you've ever watched First Take, you know that never happens. But LeBron wasn't done, not even close. He kept his voice level, like he was talking to someone in a library, and he said, you know what's funny about getting older in this league? Everyone wants to talk about what I've lost, but nobody wants to talk about what I've gained. 23 years of reading defenses that young kids have never even seen before. 23 years of knowing when a series turns and knowing how to turn it. You think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander knows how to handle a Game 7 pressure situation against a team that refuses to die? You think those young guys in Oklahoma City know what it feels like when a veteran team locks in and decides it's over? They're about to find out. Now here is where it got really interesting. Because after LeBron said that, Malika Andrews pushed him. She said, but LeBron, the Thunder beat the Lakers 4 times this regular season. 3 of those wins by 29 points or more. How do you explain that? And this is where I want you to pay close attention, because what he said next changed the entire narrative of this series. He looked right into that camera and he said, regular season means absolutely nothing to me in May. You want to talk about blowouts? I've been blown out before. I've gone down 3-1 before. Ask Golden State how that ended. The audacity, the confidence. Man, he basically just invoked the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history and dared OKC to beat Golden State 2016. And the thing is, he's not wrong. He's factually, historically not wrong. This is a man who has been in the NBA Finals 10 times. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been to the finals once, and he won it, yes, but he did it last year with a full roster. What about when the pressure is different? What about when you're the hunted instead of the hunter? And then LeBron said something that made even me, someone who watches every single Lakers game, sit up straight. He said, "I'm gonna tell you something right now. This locker room is different than anything I've been a part of in a long time. You know why? Because nobody in here is comfortable. Nobody in here is satisfied just being in the second round. We came here to win. And I need the world to understand something. We are not here just to make it look competitive. We are here to win this series." But then, and this is the part that everyone is going to be talking about, Malika asked him directly about DeAndre Ayton because Stephen A had specifically called Ayton the weak link. And this is where LeBron's tone shifted slightly. Not angry, not defensive, more like disappointed. He said, "I love DA, I do, but I'm going to be honest with you. DA needs to be ready for the biggest moment of his career this series. Because if he's not physically and mentally locked in against Chet and Hartenstein at the same time, it's going to be a problem. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He knows what he needs to do, and I believe he'll do it, but the time for talking is over." Yo, LeBron James just put his own big man on notice on national television the morning of Game 1. I literally had to pause the video and stand up and walk around my apartment for a second, because that's not something you hear from LeBron very often. He doesn't call out teammates publicly. He's always been the guy who takes the blame, deflects pressure toward himself. But today he put the responsibility squarely on Ayton's shoulders in front of the entire country. That was a message. That was a signal, and DeAndre Ayton better have heard it loud and clear. Now, the interview went to commercial after that, and I thought, okay, maybe LeBron cools down a little bit. Maybe someone on his team said, "Hey, let's not give OKC any bulletin board material." Maybe Rob Pelinka was texting him from the front office. But when they came back from break, LeBron was even more locked in. If anything, those 2 minutes seemed to sharpen him, like a blade being run across a stone, and he went back to Stephen A directly. He said, "Steven, you said I'm 41, and that's a liability. Let me flip that for you. I'm 41, and I'm still here. How many players even make it to 41 in this league? How many are still starting in the second round of the playoffs at this age? The fact that I'm sitting here right now, talking to you before a game against the defending champions as a 4 seed, tells you everything you need to know about what this body and this mind are still capable of." And he paused. Long pause. Then he said, "And I want you to watch what happens, not just tonight. Watch what happens when the series comes back to Los Angeles. Something big is coming, and when it happens, I want everyone who said sweep to remember this conversation. Now I've been watching LeBron James since I was a kid. I've seen him in Cleveland, I've seen him in Miami, I've seen all 4 of his championships, and something about the way he said something big is coming gave me chills, because he wasn't smiling. He wasn't performing. He was speaking like a man who already knows something that the rest of the world doesn't know yet. And I think I know what it is. I think Luka is closer to coming back than anyone is letting on publicly. I think the Lakers have information that the Thunder don't have. And I think LeBron just planted that seed today on purpose. Before he left the set, LeBron had one more message, and this was for the fans. He said, "Laker Nation, I know what they're saying about us. I know we're 16-point underdogs tonight. I know nobody thinks we can do this, but I need you to believe, because we believe. Every single guy in that locker room believes. And you know what? I've been in this spot before, and I know exactly what it feels like when a series turns. Stay locked in. The best is coming. Man, look." As your narrator, as someone who's watched every minute of this playoff run, let me give you my honest analysis of what today means. LeBron just set the tone for this entire series in a single interview. He put Ayton on notice. He dismissed OKC's regular season dominance. He invoked the 2016 finals. He teased that something big is coming, and he did all of that at 7 in the morning before Game 1. That is not the behavior of a man who thinks he's going to lose. That is not the body language of a 41-year-old on a farewell tour. That is a competitor who genuinely believes his team is going to stun the world. Now, here's the thing that worries me as a Lakers fan. LeBron can will this team to a game or 2, maybe 3. His playoff experience is unmatched. His IQ is unmatched. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander averaged 33.8 points, 8 assists in the first round against Phoenix, 33.8, and Chet Holmgren was blocking everything in sight, 8 swats in 3 games alone. This OKC team is not the Rockets. They don't have a weakness that defense can exploit. They score in waves like LeBron himself said. So the burden on Ayton is enormous. The burden on every single role player is enormous. One slip, one night where LeBron doesn't have it, and this could get ugly fast. But here's what I keep coming back to. Here's what makes me believe. 10 finals appearances, a 301 comeback, 4 championships, a 98-78 closeout of a team people thought was stronger. And now a 16-point underdog going into enemy territory with absolutely nothing to lose and everything to prove. If there is one player in NBA history I'd want carrying my team into an impossible situation, it's the guy who just sat on that set and smiled at Stephen A. Smith and said, "I've heard this for 23 years. But here's where the interview took a turn that I genuinely did not see coming, because after setting the table, after defending himself against Stephen A. His criticism, DA started talking about the process, about what it took to get to this moment, and he said something that I think is going to resonate with every single person watching. People don't see what happens at 5 in the morning. They don't see the film study, they don't see the weight room at midnight, they see the playoff box score and they decide in 3 seconds what kind of player I am. But my teammates see it, LeBron sees it, and tonight the world is going to see it too. And then, this is the part that made the whole interview explode. He was asked directly about Chet Holmgren's physical profile, because the narrative all week has been that Chet's length, his 7-foot wingspan, his shot blocking is going to neutralize Ayton in the paint. And DA said, "Chet is long, I know that, but long doesn't mean strong, and I've been playing against long my entire career. You know what matters in the paint? Positioning. And I have been working on my positioning for 6 months specifically for this moment. When you see me on that floor tonight, watch my feet. Watch where I set up before the ball even comes to me, because I am not going to be where they expect me to be. And by the time they adjust, it's going to be too late. Drop down in the comments right now. I want to know, do you think LeBron can steal one tonight in OKC? Do you think Ayton steps up? And if Luka comes back in Game 4, what does this series look like? Hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and ring that bell, because when this series heats up, I am going to be live with every single development. Laker Nation, this is not over. Not by a long shot. Long live the King.